We brought spare parts and spare tools on our trip to Southeast Alaska. You never know what might go wrong, and sure enough, I had plenty of opportunities to use those tools. We had several issues with the boat that we had to fix underway. In this video, I'll go over what broke and what we did to fix it. What's the worst thing that's broken on your boat on a major trip? Leave your answers in the comment section below.
Close your eyes, hear the voice within, calling.
So we had two Ranger Tugs, R27 Outboards on our trip. Lemon Drop is a 2019 model and Channel Surfing is a 2021 model. I'm going to go over all the issues that we had from both boats. So first up, the Webasto heater. Both boats have an Airtop 2000 STC Webasto heater. It runs off of diesel or kerosene. The boats each have a 5-gallon tank specific for the heater. As soon as we got to Ketchikan and it started pouring down rain, Lemon Drop's heater failed that first night. Water was in the fuel. I spent several hours getting the water out of the fuel lines, working until midnight. But this was just the beginning. Her heater was a constant challenge for us the entire trip. I had to pull water out of the fuel lines on 3 separate occasions in 3 different towns. We finally had arranged to get a replacement unit shipped to Juneau, where I replaced it entirely. It ended up failing completely when we were back in Ketchikan on our southbound trip, at which point we gave up. Once we got back home, I pumped out her entire fuel tank and put in fresh kerosene. We think she had 3 problems: a clogged, dirty burner insert in the heater, water in the fuel from condensation and from infrequent usage, and 3 gallons of bad fuel in the tank at the very start of the trip. I added a fuel water separator to Lemon Drop to make it easier to see the water and to drain it out before it becomes a problem in the future. Being that she's a 2019, she doesn't actually have a fuel gauge on hers. With the 21 models, the newer all have a fuel gauge to know how full they are. So it is best practices through the off season to keep that tank mostly full to prevent condensation from forming. Under normal usage in the Pacific Northwest, Channel Surfing fills our fuel tank about twice a year for a total of about 8 gallons annually. It's about 20 hours of heat per gallon of fuel. We burned 8 gallons of kerosene in 5 weeks in Southeast Alaska. I quickly learned that the heater was actually a mission critical component and not just a nice to have. Next issue. Going through Johnstone Strait, the starboard scuppers on Channel Surfing were clogged with dog hair. Go figure that, right? We found ourselves in really bad seas. It took a lot of water over the bow, which fell into the cockpit. It overflowed the scuppers and it shorted out the solar controller. This put 400 watts of solar out of commission on Channel Surfing. So we had to arrange to get a replacement solar controller unit shipped to Prince Rupert, where I was able to replace it 4 days later. Solar is really important to Channel Surfing. It's how we get most of our house battery bank recharged. The wastewater tank on Channel Surfing also got clogged. We noticed this when the toilet was really slow to flush and we were using about 5 times more water to flush than normal. This filled up our wastewater tank and we had to use the pump out twice while at the dock in Ketchikan as a result. The solution was to clear the vent on the outside of the boat. If air can't escape easily out of the tank, then when the toilet's flushed, it'll back up with water. Eventually it does though go down, but the tank fills up really fast with water. And the last issue occurred in Petersburg. Now this one's kind of hilarious. The galley drain got clogged. Simple thing. Lazina pulled the drain apart trying to find the clog. Unable to find it easily, I broke out the raw water washdown and I tried to blow the clog out. Well, Lazina put a pot under the sink to catch the water as I was working on this. Ultimately, it didn't work, but as the pot filled up with water, I had to dump it overboard along with the gasket for the drain. Never to be seen again. Without that gasket, the drain actually won't attach back to the sink without it leaking. So back to the hardware store in Petersburg we went. We found a flexible short drain snake that ultimately cleared the clog easily from the dock outside the boat. We're actually moored on the port side, which made it real easy to unclog it from outside the boat. I just stuck the snake into the overboard through hole fitting and it cleared the clog out instantly. But that gasket was really important and nothing in the hardware store was even close to matching. So I ended up using a tube of RTV to seal it and make it work until we got home where I could order a replacement drain that actually fits. So I was thankful that I had all the tools and stuff on board to handle it, and most of the towns that we were in, Ketchikan and Petersburg, all had hardware stores and stuff readily nearby for any spare parts and stuff that we needed, which made it pretty easy to do it. So, thanks for watching.
If you enjoyed watching this video, click the screen to watch another.